Welcome to Absolutely Abundant, a podcast for soul line creatives. I'm your host, Julie Goetzinger, and today we have episode 18, Empowering Women Through Boudoir Photography with Shay Perna. Yay, welcome, Shay!
Thank you for having me.
This is how we cheer on Zoom. So if you're watching this on YouTube, that's why I'm doing this with my hands. Like, I promise I'm okay. Help! Well, I'm so excited to get to talk with you today, Shay. I want to share a little bit of background for Shay so you can hear more about what she's all about and what she's going to be sharing with us today. Shay Perna is a boudoir photographer as well as an empowerment and business coach based in Jacksonville, North Carolina. She's a military spouse and a mom of 2 girls and 2 fur babies. Her mission is to empower women to step into their power and see themselves for the strong, beautiful, amazing individuals that they are, whether that be in business or in their personal lives. As she guides her clients through their self-love journey, she holds space for them so they can bring down their walls and get really vulnerable and honest and talk about any limiting beliefs, how they perceive themselves, and start challenging their existing perceptions so they can love themselves, see past their flaws, and show up authentically, professionally, and personally. Oh, what a beautiful mission, sister. I love it so much. So well, first of all, what is boudoir photography? Can you clarify for our audience who's not familiar with that genre of photography, what exactly is boudoir photography?
So when I meet people, I am usually like, oh, the sexy photos with the ladies in their lingerie, just so they're like, oh, okay, yeah.
Right, frame of reference.
But if I can actually have a conversation with them, it's so much more than that. It's so the process of everything. When they first come in, they're scared, they're nervous, they're not sure if they're how they're gonna look and whatnot, but they took this leap of faith, and it's like I can hold their hand through the process, and through it all, it's like little by little, they're like, oh, I'm beautiful. Oh my God, that's me. Oh my goodness, I can do this. And then, they get into the photo shoot and it's just like, okay, I'm going to take this chance again. I don't know how this is going to turn out. Shay's amazing, but I'm going to be that one person that, is going to mess up her portfolio or something. You come in and it's just like, as I'm showing them the back of the camera, it's like, whoa, that's me. And I'm like, there's nobody else here.
There's no stunt model that comes in and poses real quick and then gets out of the scene.
They're just like, wow, I'm so beautiful. I look so powerful. And sometimes I'll take one, I'll pose them one way in the beginning and I'll do that same pose at the end, just so I can show them when I'm showing their images. And I'm just like, look at you before and look at you now. Wow. They just carry themselves differently. They show up differently.
So it's really like a powerful visual representation of transformation, is what happens during a boudoir shoot. And something that really stood out to me that I got, the chills all over was, that's me, and just that, so many of us forget, our power, our worth, as we go through life and we have children and, we get married and we, take on all those adult responsibilities, we get lost in it, and we think I'm just a mom or I'm just this. And then you see yourself in that goddess energy and that powerful divine feminine energy that you have. And that's where that question, that's me, emerges from. And Shay would love to know more about how did you get landed into this specific genre of photography? What about this genre is just yes for you?
I love the one-on-one. I remember I don't shoot weddings anymore, but one of my wedding clients was like, hey, have you ever done this before? And I was like, no, but I'm down. Let's do this.
Kind of like this podcast today, right?
Yes. And it was so much fun. We had we were laughing and she's like, I don't even know how you got good pictures of me because I was laughing so much during the shoot.
Those make the best pictures, don't they? Those natural laughs. It's yes, right there. There it is. There she is. Emerging as her real self. Yes.
Yes. I can really take the time to get to know them and talk with them. And it's just so, it's a vulnerable process. And I love that. I love being one-on-one. The introvert in me.
Yeah, I hear you, sister. That's why I do a lot of one-on-one coaching too. I'm like, I love the one-on-one. You can really get in there and you can really see things, and people feel comfortable, being vulnerable in that state as well. And I would also love to hear about, what do you mean by limiting beliefs? What kind of limiting beliefs stop women from seeing themselves worthy of even doing a photo shoot like this?
I hear a lot of, I need to lose weight. I'm too old. I wanted to do that for years, but at this point, like, it's too late for me.
Mm.
I'm a mom. I can't spend that kind of money on myself. I put everybody before myself. So, there's no time to come in. I've heard that too. So, but it's so rewarding when they actually do come in. They're like, oh, and then they show up differently in their lives. And it's like, oh, okay. Like, I needed to invest in myself first.
Yes.
And then, like, I got all the benefits, and I can, I'm different with my kids. I show up differently in my work. I'm different with, my partner.
Beautiful.
So it's so
Love
beneficial.
it. Love it. And also, I feel like there's some shame, around sexuality for a lot of women, especially, maybe if something happened to you, somebody violated your body in some way, or, had some kind of trauma in a past relationship, or you were taught, for your religion or your culture that it's not safe to reveal yourself. And, as far as like the shame piece, like, how do we help to heal that? Even when someone says I'm a boudoir photographer, and that judgment that can come, like, oh, you, like, that's weird. Like, why would you do that? Why? And I know I faced that when I was a boudoir photographer, being like, my family was skeptical of it. And they're like, well, that's like, why would you want to do that? Just take pictures of families, that's. And so I'd love for you to speak to, how do we start to heal that shame piece around sexuality and feeling like it's not safe to show your body?
That's why I love the process that I do with my clients. Sometimes I get to talk to them before the shoot, like, in depth. Most of the time it's there. I want to really get to know them. And maybe they might not say, this is the problem. And sometimes they don't even know, like,
right,
there is a problem, but just through
right,
like that conversation, and they're so open with me. They just trust me. So I'm just like, I know I need to provide that safe place so that we can, if we need to talk before the shoot, like, I'm going to talk to you. Because I have had people that, were abused and whatnot come in, and it's just like, we're not in a rush. Let's talk. Like, if we pull out the camera, like, great, like, we are going to pull out the camera at some point, but I'm like, this is for you. Really, like, reassuring them. I know, like, sometimes religion is a thing that comes into play when they're thinking about a boudoir shoot. They're like, oh, I can't do that. Like,
that's bad.
but,
So it's for women who are young, or it's for your fiance after you get married, or, all those things.
But it's just, they come to that realization that, like, I'm worth it. This is my body.
Yes.
This experience is for me. Like,
yes.
Everybody that comes to me, this experience is for them. Like, it might also be like a gift for someone else, but my clients are like, I want this experience. I want to connect with myself. Like, it's not a bad thing.
Right. And I think that piece of going to someone where you feel safe to share, why you're hesitant, or what your background is. And not that you have to come and just share your whole life story. People like me and Shay attract people who do that. That happens to me all the time. Like, I'll sit down on the plane and they'll tell me everything. I'm like, whoa, like, we just met. But there's something about our presence and the way we hold people, and that makes people know that it's safe to share and be vulnerable in that way. And I also think is why Shay's being guided to develop a coaching business as well. Self-love coaching is what she's expanding into now. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? What are you, how do you help people through that self-love coaching, and why did you decide to continue on that path?
I kind of fell into it. I was doing it and I was like, and somebody was like, you need to do that. Like, you're so good at it. Like, coach people. I was like, oh, but like how we view ourselves affects how we interact with every person that we come in contact with, how we interact with the world around us, our kids, how we show up on our businesses. So I feel like it's just so important. Like, it starts with you first.
Yeah.
Like, if you can love yourself and you have that positive self-image and that confidence, like you're going to be like, you're going to feel unstoppable.
Yeah. And I think like you see this need of like, we can't just do this transformational experience and then be like, see ya, like like people are like, well, now what? They have this newfound confidence and we're all human. Some days we feel great and we look at our body and we're like, damn, I look good. Like I did that this morning to myself. I'm like, look at those ab muscles. Yes. Like loving on myself in the mirror. And then there are other days when I'm just like, I'm a mom, I need to cover up, like no makeup, like I don't feel glamorous. And is why I printed a big metal print of myself in sexy lingerie and it's in my bedroom and I look at it, I'm like, that's me. That powerful Julie, like that's me, and I can wear sweatshirts and cover myself up if I feel like it, if I'm not feeling like getting all dressed up. But it's that's still me, that powerful woman. And that's what Boudoir reminds you of, and I love working with people like Shay. I told her the other day that she was my ideal client. I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, you are like, who I love working with, because it's people who are making a difference in the world. And that I've told Shay, like, I see her as a healer. This is deeply healing work that she's doing, that she starts, from that very first phone call of prepping, and guiding the woman through, the outfit selections and all the process and reassuring her through that process, having an amazing experience at the photo shoot, and then also offering her, follow-up coaching. And she's expanding to offer retreats as well. And Shay, can you share a little bit about the work you've done with me and how you've evolved since you came to that very first Abundance Breakthrough Retreat with us? If you could kind of take us back to where you were before that, and it was last July, so we're coming up on our first year together. And what, yay, what has changed in your life since you started working, with me and, coming to our retreats and our Free to Fly program?
Everything changed. Oh my goodness. I was just ready for a change. I was like, I don't want to be going through the motions. Like, I see where I want to go, or have an idea of where I want to go. And I'm like, I'm not getting there by myself, or I'm like going too slow by myself. So I was like, I don't even know when I joined your group, but I know I found you through Alex Loveland, and I was just called to like take that chance with you.
Yeah. And how has your life improved, since you have taken that leap of faith and you said, I don't know why, but I know this is where I'm meant to be. Like, what areas of your life have improved since then?
Everything. My business has really like taken off, and now I'm like, yay! I had to get help.
We love money and growth.
But like, I was in that grind of like, okay, I got to grow the business, like my head down, like business. And like, I've got 2 kids. Like, I was like, oh, I'm missing so many things. Like, I'm still there, but it's just like missing out on so many things. Like, I'm not getting to be present. That was so important. Like, my family is so important to me. And I'm like, I'm building this business so I can like have that freedom. But at the same time, like, you almost feel shackled to the business. Like, even though you might love it.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I feel like, oh, I have that freedom. Like, I'm not shackled to it. Like, I've grown. I don't think before I would have been in a place where I could get help. I was like, I can do everything, so I should do everything. Like, why am I going to pay somebody to, help me with my marketing or help me with my social media. I can do everything. And I was like spreading myself so thin. Yeah. And it was like coming back to that self-worth.
Mm. And what I hear is that you learn to trust, and you're listening to your intuition and knowing that, it's not about just chaining yourself to the business and like grinding away. Like you have these little beautiful souls, your children, your animals, your spouse, like these souls that you've chosen to be with. And we choose to be entrepreneurs for the freedom, where we want that, the time freedom, the financial freedom, freedom to work with who we want, where we want to, like the creativity. And when we choose to just do it all ourselves and just say like, I got this, I can do everything, there's going to be areas that are left out. Like the most important areas, like your family. And that sense of balance is something we come back repeatedly, in our Free to Fly program of coming back, like presence, balance, and we're all human and we all need those reminders to just come back, because we can get so super focused in an area and then miss, the most valuable parts of our lives, like our family and spending time with our friends. And that is really something we work on healing, is that scarcity mindset that if I don't, if I take a break, then people are going to stop reaching out. There's no money coming in unless I'm actively working on my business. And what we've seen is that's just not true. And that's why we set up things like retreats and programs where we can, work with people in a group. When you do your photo shoots, it's one person at a time. It's exchanging my time for money. But when you do things like, online coaching courses that you record and put up on your website, those things can bring in, the resources and allow you more time freedom. So that's something that, I'm working on with Shay right now, is building that business, expanding so that she does have the time to take off and she doesn't have to feel so pressured. Yeah. And Shay, why did you decide to continue on with us? The next level of my program is called The Nest, and that's where we continue on and take on more of a leadership role. What called you to say yes to that?
Because of the changes. I want to go back to the retreat a little bit. While I was there, like there were things that I thought I had dealt with, and the realization wasn't, nope, because it was still showing up like in my life in different areas. So that is so important, just to like head on, not be afraid to like look at the past and see if it's holding you back. Yeah. And I would love to, I'm like so excited to take this leadership role. Yes. Just to help other people do the same in, yes, in the setting that you have created, like this safe space.
Yeah. And I think so many of us, in my program didn't see ourselves as leaders, myself included. And, my clients kind of are like, what? Like you didn't see yourself as a teacher or a leader? Like that's what you are. I didn't, as of about 2 years ago. I was like, I don't teach adults. I taught 10-year-olds fractions, like I was a math teacher, and it's funny because I'm not even that good at math. I was like, why was I a math teacher? But I've always been a teacher, and it's just the wrong content, like I'm a spiritual teacher. I'm a business, teacher, but I'm not a math teacher. And, I have an accountant that does that now. But yeah, that's the part too, is that, we attract people who want to step more into that leadership role as well. And a lot of us like don't see it in ourselves. So, hiring a coach and surrounding yourself with others who see it in you and remind you of, those claims that you've made. Like you want to host a retreat, you want to build a coaching business, you want to start a podcast, you want to write a book, whatever you want, making that claim in front of a group that will ask you about it. And, like hold you accountable for like, let's start taking some action steps towards it and trusting in the divine to help, bring the pieces together. Beautiful. And Shay, if people are interested in reaching out to do a boudoir shoot with you, where are you located and how does that process begin if they're interested in doing a photo shoot with you?
So I'm in North Carolina, on the coast. So if you come, you can just take a vacation.
Yes.
I've had clients do that.
Beautiful.
Jacksonville, North Carolina. You can go to the website and we can set up a call. We can go through all the information, the whole experience, because it's not one of those, 30 minutes, like I'm going to be in and out. Like, nope. It's like all day, all about you from 9 to 3, like hair and makeup, having the shoot so you don't feel rushed. You can go out to lunch. You get to view your images the same day. Like,
beautiful. Wow. That's amazing. Like, what service? Like, you get to see the images of state, like, you have like a wedding and it, like, sometimes it takes like a year to get your pictures back and you forget, like, what was I wearing? Like, you don't, like same day, like, that's amazing. And who doesn't want to go to North Carolina, like going by the ocean, and Shay also does branding shots, everybody always needs, those updated branding shots too. I think that's a really awesome thing, to have if you're a business owner yourself. And Shay's website is Boudoir by pernaphotography.com. And I will put the link in the show notes along with her Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok accounts so that you can follow her and reach out if you're interested in reminding yourself of that goddess that you are and feeling so well taken care of. I only recommend the best. So I recommend Shay, and she's a beautiful soul. Like, she radiates pure joy. Every time she comes on our calls, I just feel like she just has such beautiful positive energy, and it's no surprise to me that people feel comfortable enough to tell them, their real stories, and then go on for coaching with her as well. So thank you so much, Shay, for being here today. Such an honor to have you here and to get to see you, grow and evolve into that beautiful leader you are for women. So thank you for the amazing work that you do.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yay! Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much. Tune in again next Tuesday and have a beautiful day. Bye, everybody.